Hello, welcome in the Queens of Wisdom. Today, our first day, but not first conversation. However, now is the time to welcome Patrizia Mongillo, my dear friend of a whole year in the mentorship space. We walked through a lot together, and that was the time when I really fall in love with Patrizia's wisdom and the way how she see world through her eyes and through her heart and soul. And Patrizia is a holistic embodiment coach. She comes from the education background. However, nowadays she is spending lots of time and effort to see this whole industry in a different way. She's also a woman who helps other women to liberate themselves and have totally new approach to motherhood, which is very interesting for me because I'm a mom of the grown-up man, and I can see how many things Patrizia sees differently than I used to see when I was mom of little ones. So that's absolutely stunning. And welcome, Patrizia. Share with us your wisdom, please.
Oh, thank you so much, Ella. I am so happy to be here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. And truthfully, I think this conversation is so timely as more and more women are awakening to their missions in the world and to what they are wanting to create. And it's really this concept of what kinds of resources do we need personally within us in order to then be able to share our light with the world and to say yes to the bigness of our missions. And one of the things that personally I embarked on 6 years ago was a personal wellness journey that then turned into my life's work. And what I keep uncovering as I'm on this journey continuously until forever, right? It's continual growth and evolution. What I keep uncovering is that the more I come back to myself, the more I honor myself and what I need, and I nourish myself, the more I have to give to the world, to the people in my life, to my family, to my children. And so that's part of my work. Part of my work is to help women remember the power that they hold within them, and then to allow them to access that power through very intentional practices and commitments, intentional commitments to themselves.
Absolutely love it. And going from that place, could you explore more what liberation, the women liberation means for you and how that embodiment, happen for others, for your clients? And
So when I think of a liberated woman, I think of a woman who is able to nourish herself, but also a woman who allows herself to be nourished. So there is a very balanced energetic in the sense that you have masculine and feminine balanced energy within yourself, and then also within your life, that you're not overextending yourself or feeling as if you need to take on more to prove that you are free, sovereign, liberated, that you understand that your power is something that comes from within you, and that you can fully resource yourself, yet you also have the ability to relax into the receiving, into the of other people also nourishing you. And I think that, well, not I think, a lot of the women that I work with come to me because they are in a very imbalanced energy. They have learned how to build businesses, how to mother, how to work in careers in hustle energy. and in do it energy. And they know that they want something different. They know they're craving something different, but they don't know how to access that. And so what I help them do is I help them recalibrate and come back into balance. And really what it is a reflection of my own personal journey, because I spent the better part of my life and early into my mothering my two boys, really over exerting myself and in a program of self-denial and self-martyrdom for the good of everyone else. And basically what happened was I martyred myself to the point of losing myself. I shrunk so much that even the people within my own life couldn't really see me and couldn't really see what was going on with me. And it wasn't until I had a full burnout. I dealt with postpartum anxiety and depression in silence for 2.5 years after the birth of my second child. And it wasn't until I went into full burnout, full adrenal burnout, I was sick more often than I was well, that I finally realized that I needed to do something differently. And then my journey basically began a slow rebuilding and also a dismantling of all of the belief systems that I had inherited, learned through watching other women in my life, about what it means to be a good woman, a good, in quotation marks, mother, wife, daughter. And my journey has really been a reclamation. As I dismantle a limiting belief, I reclaim more power and more energy and more light for myself. And then I'm able to then share that with my children from a very different place, from a place of overflow, from a place of abundance, from a place of resourcefulness. And it's really required me to step into into the understanding that I am a liberated woman, that I am an independent woman, but not from the place of I don't need anyone to do this, that I can do it all on my own, or I have to do it all on my own because no one else can do it as well as me. Like, none of those stories. It's from this very balanced place of I choose what I engage with, and I also allow myself to be supported by my partner when I need it. So the result has been a more grounded steadiness in my mothering. And there's been a nervous system calibration that's happened where I'm no longer in fight or flight, in high anxiety, in worry, and I'm more in a state of understanding that I've got me. And so because I've got me, I've got this. I've got the people in my life, because I will no longer self-abandon. I know that I need to be first in order for me to then give to my children in the way that I need to.
Absolutely in love what you're saying, and I can see the part of that journey which we experienced together. But it's so much wisdom. And when you said, like, from the place, of your own power, I just seen you as a queen. You are the queen of your life and your family. And then thinking about how queen acts and how queen, I was lucky to live for so many years in England and having a queen, over there. And then just even thinking all of the stories about seeing the queen and how she was going to see her horses wearing a scarf, not a crown, and she's still been a queen. So this is the power which is radiating from us and is giving the light to others. So this is absolutely incredible what you're sharing. And I love the way how you just, extend that and just gone into your motherhood and see this differently, because that silence we talked, first conversation with Violetta was about the voice, was about expression, and then women are suffering and they're not able to express, then something's going wrong, because you're going to be seen as weak, and oh, you're not able to be a mom in a way as the whole world expecting you, which probably most of the things is just made up somehow. And this is absolutely beautiful. Then seeing the balance, as you said, because I observe women as well working with them. It's like we either do too much, or we either go in a state like just laying down and the manifestation will happen. And none of these places is the right place to be. It's all about getting into the middle and having that, in a right balance. And this is coming to the balance of the nervous system, which is a big part of your work you're doing. So
It
how
is.
do you help, to get this nervous system in line to be able to respond to all of these, factors coming to our life from outside?
So I work a lot with plant medicine, specifically essential oils. And I use essential oils topically, aromatically, and internally to be able to nourish my adrenals, my nervous system. And I pair the use of essential oils with breathwork practices and with very conscious meditation, yoga, other wellness practices that then allow me to come back into balance. And since doing that, I have also found the oils to be tremendous tools for supporting my own children in their growth and their struggles. And so I use the oils very consciously. I use them physically, like as physical tools, but more specifically energetically and emotionally to support whatever it is that is coming up for me or for them.
So how your children are responding to the oils, the aromatherapy, tools, and when you approach them?
They have such an openness to them, which is so beautiful to witness, because oftentimes as adults, when we first come into these healing modalities, if we haven't really been exposed to them, we can bring a certain amount of skepticism, and part of the journey is unwinding where that comes from, and remembering the power that these essences hold, or that these modalities, these ancient modalities, whatever they are, have had on our planet, on people for generations, for centuries, right? They're not new. But my children are so open to them. And what I find is one of my children, well, both of my children uh, have different needs, but one of my children is high needs and has a very complex set of circumstances, and I use the oils to support him holistically in his in what is coming up for him, along with other therapies to also support his development and to assist him.
This is so beautiful, and only shows how you said that word, remember, and children remember better than us, because we used to remember when we were children, but mainly the society, the environment push us to forget about that, and then we need to remember if there is such a word, again. And watching our children, how much they remember and how trusty they are, this is something amazing. And it's so beautiful to work with them. And then it's simple like that. The peaceful mama is the peaceful children, and that's so much connected, and they trust who? They trust mama in the first place, isn't it? So yes.
Absolutely. And truthfully, Ella, that was one of the biggest rewards of embarking on this journey, and continues to be a reward as I unwind stories within myself and I heal my own nervous system. I then notice a change in my children, because a family is one nervous system. And so it's the importance of the parents tending to themselves, to their well-being, to nourishing themselves, to really doing the healing work so that they can return to a state of balance within themselves, then extends out energetically to their children, because our children are constantly calibrating to us, right? If they need us in order to co-regulate. And so if we are dysregulated, if we are in a state of depletion, and we are in a state of overwhelm and stress, and we do not know how to come back into balance, our children feel that, and then our children mirror it. And what ends up happening is it's a vicious cycle, because our children mirror the dysregulation and we become more dysregulated, because then we see something and we think, oh my gosh, what's going on? I have to try to fix this child. And it has less with fixing the child and more having to heal whatever it is within us that is contributing to them sensing lack of stability, lack of safety, and they're us not being able to assist them in regulating themselves. And truthfully, as a mother of a child with who is neurodiverse and who has a variety of needs, he requires so much from me, and I can only give him what he needs when I am fully resourced. And that was really something I had to really come to understand within myself, because part of what contributed to my decline was that when he was diagnosed at 1 month, and I went into fix it mode. I went into, okay, tell me exactly what I need to do, where he needs to go, who he needs to see. And I literally just, I forgot all about me, and I launched into, I have to care for him, and I have to do everything I possibly can. And what I didn't realize was that part of caring for him was also caring for myself, because I could not support him in the way that he needed when I was in a state of total depletion. And so now that I am in a state of being fully nourished, being committed to my nourishment, being committed to my well-being, I am now able to meet him where he is, and I'm able to hold space for everything that comes up. And I'm also interpreting it differently, because I'm not seeing it as, why is this kid giving me a hard time, or why can't I get it together as a mother, or what's wrong with me? Why can't I handle all of this on my own? I'm seeing it as, this child is struggling, and I have been put in his life to support him and to help him to the other side.
That's so beautiful. And also he's chosen you as a mom and your husband as a dad, to trusting you, then you will be able to care about him, isn't it? So there's a reason.
Yes.
So beautiful, so beautiful. I just wanna just said in between, like, if you have any to our lovely audience, any questions to Patrizia, just drop it in the chat, please. And put also comments or anything you like. Hi, Sherry. Sherry is there with us as well already. And yes, this is so beautiful, and I can really feel the calmness when you're speaking. I'm just so relaxed and calm, and this is so you can just you know, the radiance and the light and the peace, it is just literally speaking before you even open the mouth. So it is so gorgeous. That's my feeling.
Thank you,
But
Ella.
you're welcome. And it's like we're there and we talk about children, and this is the beautiful topic. And I know we have mamas in here as well in the audience. And you also put a big piece of your work around education, because you're coming from the class, you know, the traditional education, you master of education, and then you see it differently. Could you say more about that new approach and your vision for the future?
Yes, so this is really the gift of having a child who is neurodiverse. He has really opened up a new understanding for me about what is required within the education system to support these high frequency children. Because the children that are here now are children who are operating at a different level of consciousness, and what they're doing is they are really inviting us in as parents, as mothers, to also to meet them in their frequency, to up level, to do the work that's necessary to be able to not only support them, but also to um, go forth and create the world that they need. And currently, the traditional education system is not supportive of these children who are coming in with new ways of being, who are coming in with different needs, who are wanting to be, for example, a very tangible example, wanting to be connected to nature, to the earth, who really show a difference in their demeanor, their behavior when they are given the opportunity to be outside, to connect with nature, to engage, with their hands in the earth, and to really, like, who are magnetic, like just not magnetically, but like naturally drawn to Mother Earth in a different way, and keeping them in classrooms where they're under fluorescent lights, seated at a desk, being made to do pen and paper work for hours at a time, confined. There are children who learn to adapt, um, and then there are children that don't. And currently, the way the current education system frames those children is that they are the problem, that they are not able to meet the expectations. But truly, what those children are showing us is that there's a need for a different lens, that the child is not the problem, that the environment is too limited for the child. And what I truly believe, I worked in public education for 13 years, and in that time I worked in elementary, secondary schools, as well as in a transition program for at-risk students moving into post-secondary. And what I truly believe is that currently the public education model has teachers in simply like a response mode, as in, this is what I need to do. These are the expectations. I simply have to deliver them, and the child has to meet the expectations that I deliver. But the future of education is the teacher recognizing who they have in front of them, and then making the necessary changes um, to then support that child, to meet that child where they are. And this requires the teacher to see themselves as a conscious leader. It requires the teacher to do their own personal work, to be able to up level, just as mothers, as parents are being asked to do in conscious parenting, right? It's this understanding of it's not the child fitting into our structure. It's us learning how to expand the structure so that we then can honor that child and the gifts that they bring and what they need in that moment.
This is huge, and I can see the vision, how this is taking a place, and one day that will happen, I'm sure. Just, spreading the word and awakening more people into that, what's going on. This is incredible work you're doing. So congratulations on this, and, all my best. Oh, this is gorgeous. And then we're going into the channeling side, into your spiritual connection. How this is all happen in this, that was the piece of the health and the motherhood, and there's the understanding the circumstances you find out yourself, became a mom, and where all of this spirituality come.
So I was raised in a very traditionally Catholic home, and so I did have a basis for spirituality, but I would say that I really began to uncover my own personal journey um, as I tried to become a mom, because my journey to motherhood was not an easy one. It was 8 years in the making. And so it was this concept of holding a vision, holding a big vision, trusting, having faith in the process, surrendering, and having to surrender over and over again. And then once I had my children, it was really once I had my second child. His name is Gabriel, and he was really the portal to greater spirituality for me, because I did not have any idea what his future would look like. I still don't. Um, he does not fit into any traditional system. He will not have a quote unquote regular trajectory or normal trajectory. But I have to return to my faith and my trust that I believe he chose us as his parents. I believe he's here at this time for a very specific reason. I know he is a high frequency being. I know he came into our family to raise our consciousness, to raise our frequency. That is his gift. And I truly believe that, I'm here to, I'm getting emotional, but I'm here to to have the faith that he will show me the way, that whatever it is that he needs, I am meant to follow his lead, and that in creating it for himself, I will then be creating it for other children as well. And really it's just returning back to that state of surrender, right? Because I mean, as a parent, it's like this for every parent. There's always a stage where you just have to trust. You don't have all the answers. You can't possibly keep your children from learning certain lessons or going out into the world and being impacted by the world. And there you have to trust in something greater than you, right? And so every time I do that, I just find that my spirituality gets deeper and deeper and more embodied.
This is absolutely, grace to listen to these words, because as a human beings, we tend to fix and push and do so much, thinking that must be the answer. We know, or if not me, someone next to me. And I was beginning with my conversation this morning with that, and we tend to listen more other voices than listening to inner voice within us, which is actually God's voice. And we that work on the level of trust towards ourselves, then this voice actually is real, is true, and it's not any better than voice of the friend giving us advice. Nothing, I've got nothing against my friends, but you know, it is like, just trust yourself, acknowledge our power, acknowledge your power. And this is something incredibly huge. When we got into that state and reclaim the power, everything looks different. Everything looks different. Yes, I
Right.
love
It's that
that.
intuitive knowing that we're gifted as women, right? And it's really honing that intuition and understanding that it is God-given. And that as we choose to as we choose uh, to learn how to tune in, and we recognize it, and we flex that muscle more and more, then we also trust the guidance, and we know how to move, and we move out of trying to do everything, and rather taking that aligned action and taking it from a place of knowing that we are being guided in that direction. And so for me as a mother, I mean, there is no shortage, like with my son and his condition. I can get lost in Google for hours, Googling his condition and trying to find all of the therapies and all of the things that will quote unquote fix him. But it's also me knowing my child and trusting my intuition and knowing, what is most um, impactful, what is most supportive for him, what is most nourishing for him, what honors who he is, what he came here to do. And that's all something I have to access within. And I can't do that if I am in a state of, we go right back to the beginning, if I'm in a state of dysregulation, and I am um, not fully within myself, I'm not nourishing myself. If I'm in a state of depletion and constantly just trying to, trying to make everything work, trying to control everything, I cannot hear my internal voice, and I can't, and then I can't trust it, right? So it's all connected. That's what's so beautiful.
Yes, exactly. And yet, as you said, we're just going to the point where we started, and it's going again and again. But also, when you were saying this now about, one of your sons, then you've got another son, and then it's also to balancing, not giving all the attention to this child, which needs, okay, he needs more, but actually the other one was like, what about me? And then it's
Yeah.
your husband, he said, hey, ho, what about me? And this is
Right.
yourself, what about me, where we are in this place? So, and then we go to the beginning about the balance and the equal, putting yourself into the power, and then just spreading this peace across the whole family equally. So
Yeah.
this is absolutely gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely it's this idea of being able to give everybody what they need, in the ways that they need it, right? And you can only do that if you're clear.
Mhm.
You can, because it's very true. My older son, he's in his preteens, and he's really exploring his independence, and it can be very easy to assume as a parent that, well, that child doesn't need me as much. But it's only when we are present to what is, when we're here and we're able to be here fully, right? And not like escape or not kind of disconnect, but we've nourished ourselves enough that then we're able to be with what is and see what's in front of us. Then we also see where we are needed, right? And we're less in a state of control and more in a state of response, but also um, like honoring the child and giving the child the space that they need without trying to make the child be a certain way so that things are easier for us, right? So it's really it of your life, and you know, it does go into your relationship, like with my partner, and with people in my life, right? It's presence, and presence can only be truly accessed when we are full, because otherwise we're in this scattered place, and we are not steady and we are not grounded, and so it can be very easy to want to disengage with the reality in front of you, or to um not like not really see where you're needed, but just assume what is needed from you. And so my journey as a mom is really learning how to balance the needs of my children. They're very different. They're both high frequency souls. They have both blessed my life so much. My oldest son has this gift of walking into a room and really bringing so much peace into people's hearts. And he is literally the exact brother that my other son needs. It is incredible to watch their connection, and I can only appreciate it fully when I am resourced, because then I'm able to see the ways in which they help one another and they support one another, and it's really a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's a blessing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And thinking about children, that's one part, but also about the liberated women. What would you say to our audience, to women in front of you, for this new year, 2025? What would be your
Sherry
message?
told me to ask.
So I've recently come into a more nuanced understanding of what it means to be a liberated woman. And I truly believe that as more and more women awaken to, um, balanced energetics, and more women do the personal work to dismantle the programming that's been learned through society, I believe there's going to be a redefinition of feminism. In my mind, I truly believe that a woman is sovereign and free and liberated, but I do not believe that she doesn't need anyone in order to be that. I think there has to be a rebalancing of the energetics. I think the pendulum has swung very far to one side. And what we have now is we have, particularly for young girls, we have a demonstration of ultra feminism to the point of almost uh, like pushing the masculine away, like in the sense that like the masculine is not needed. And as a mother of two boys, I find that very concerning, because I truly believe I'm raising my boys. My boys are seeing my journey. They're seeing, um, me step into my power more and more. They're seeing the rebalancing of dynamics within my relationship with my husband, and how their father is so willing to step up and to support me in my mission and what I'm here to do. And so they're learning all of that, but I don't ever want them to feel as if they are also not important. I believe that we've gone to the point where now there is there are so many catchy phrases and so many really influential figures who are pushing a narrative of ultra feminism at the detriment of the masculine. And what that's doing is it's actually causing greater imbalance in the energetics. And in order for everything to come back into balance, there has to be this stepping up of the man as the provider, but also an openness and a willingness on the part of the woman to be provided for, not because she's not capable, but because she recognizes that it is the providing that then allows her to access her deep feminine power so she can go out into the world and do what she's here to do. So it's this, I'm seeing a recalibration. And I really believe that as more and more women step into their own knowing and they do this work to release these stories around not needing anyone, having to do everything themselves, um, uh, being the only capable one, the only one who can do it perfectly right, etc. All of those stories. As women put those stories down and they come into greater balance, they then open themselves up to receiving, right? Receivership, and then recognizing that the truth is women don't want to do it all by themselves, because there are a lot of angry, resentful women in the world who say, I can do it all on my own, but actually would really love for their partners to step up and step into their role. And so you can't have that, like, it can't exist at the same time. There has to be a reshifting. And I'm really excited to continue to lead the conversation on this, because I really see it as a mom of two boys. I see it, and I'm concerned about the current narrative. I believe there has to be kind of a coming into the middle more.
So much wisdom, and we could have carried on and on and on on this. It's so much, to go through, but I love that, that bit what you just brought about the new calibration. And I think we becoming the ancestor of the future generations. We women, we're on the path already. We've got so much to do, because imagine someone will say in the future, my mother changed this, my grandma changed this. That was that auntie in the family, she's done it. That was that friend of my grandma, she's done it.
Mhm.
And this is our choice on a daily basis, and we can choose to be those ancestors from the future who are actually touching the earth in a different way and showing the younger generation then this world is safe and aging is safe, and going through that process of being mom or having the challenges, then being the mother of grown-up children, and then becoming grandma maybe in the future. And even if you're not having any children but you're getting aged, there is a safe place, and it's so much to do and enjoy and having a full life, and just be and having fun internationally on this, a place like Queens of Wisdom. So I'm so grateful, Patrizia, for your acceptance to coming to us and sharing your wisdom in here. That's been an absolutely privilege and pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I love the way you ended that. It's the legacy, right? It's the legacy that we're here to leave, right? And how beautiful, what a beautiful thought to think that one day our future generations will say, I had a grandmother or an aunt or a great grandmother who contributed this to the world, right? And really the world starts within our families, and then it ripples out, right? So it's this beautiful, I'm reminded of a quote before we go. Mother Teresa says, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And it really is this like ultimate love, right, that we're called to as women. Like, we're so fortunate. And whatever your family looks like, because for a long time my family consisted of just my husband and I. And truthfully, it's being able to love from a really a deep place, and then that love then ripples out into the world.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
we will cut in this place, and then we will come back at what time is now? I've got it's gonna be 4 o'clock in the UK, and I don't know what's gonna be time in yours.
11.
11, and we're
a.m.
gonna have Sherry Hon talking about the health as well and the journey to health. So come back to us within 10 minutes, or listen that to later if you cannot. Thank you so much. It's been a huge pleasure. Thank you. And thank you to you guys being with us in here.
Thank you, everyone.